Hi guys, and welcome back to Series 3, Episode 2. We're talking with Paula Flynn from Rye Naturopathic Wellness. First of all, I'd like to welcome you, beautiful Paula. I'm also from Rye, so it's a very special spot on the peninsula. But Paula, you haven't always been from the peninsula, have you?
No. I've been here now for 12 years.
So you are a local, essentially.
Yes, I think
well and truly.
I think after 10 you can call yourself a local. I grew up in Kahuna, so a very small town up in northern Victoria, so on the Murray there, only 2,000 people there.
Oh.
So grew up there, left there when I was 18. I'm 52 now, so I've lived a bunch of different places between, there and here. But Rye's my spot. I love Rye.
Well, we love having you in Rye.
Yeah.
But you were one reason that we've got you on today is to talk about specifically Rye Naturopathic Wellness and the fact that the peninsula is a hub for wellness, I believe. People actually travel down from Melbourne and other places to come and experience, whether it's the hot springs or the beaches and the natural air. But also, I think there's a growing community around real self-led wellness, but not only self-led, more practitioner-led, and you're the practitioner. Tell us more around your experience. How did you get into the wellness space?
I know. I was actually thinking about that on the way in today, like what sparked my interest. I grew up on a dairy farm, and I just can't think of how it snuck in, but I've always been obsessed with health, like even since I was a kid. As a teenager, reading teen magazines, I'd always skip straight to the health section.
Yeah.
Like always, even through my wild teenage 20 years, I was always having herbal teas and leaning into essential oils. And it's always been a part of me that I've always loved. I don't know if it's from a genetic thing, but it's always been part of me. When I was 20, I kind of found out about naturopathy. I found out what that job was, and I couldn't believe that job existed.
Yep.
That it contained everything that I loved: diet and lifestyle, herbal medicine, even things like essential oils, meditation, all in this one job. So
it brings you back to yourself, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Naturopathy really is about centering the person in the center, and then how do they relax? How do they de-stress? How do they manage stress? It's more than just, I guess, massage.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit more. There's some pillars that naturopathy sort of pin themselves against.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit more.
The pillars are extensive, but the three things I quite often bring it back to
Yes.
are stress, sleep, and gut health.
Yeah.
I really need to focus on all those areas. If we get those areas working really well, everything else seems to just fall into place a lot easier.
Yeah.
So getting those things into place, I'll use a whole bunch of different techniques and medicines and lifestyle and diet. But really, if we can get those three things working well, everything does seem to
fall
get a
into
lot better.
place.
Yeah.
It's sort of, that's the background for the holistic health, really, is you've got to get those three things right. Yeah, that's fantastic. I mean, I'm very much interested going into middle life. I do believe that is the most important thing. If you haven't got your health, you haven't got anything.
Yeah.
But not only are you a naturopath, you've also done some extended training recently, haven't you? Tell us a little bit more about that.
Well, I guess we're looking at my whole journey. I started studying to be a naturopath when I was 20.
Yep.
I diverted onto massage, and I also have got a keen interest in skin health too. So I'm also a beauty therapist, but I just focus on skin as well.
Yep.
I traveled overseas working in different international day spas, managing spas. I actually opened a day spa, worked in that for many years, and also a separate skin clinic. I also was awarded the 3AW Origin Energy Small Business Award.
Oh, fantastic.
And I circled back into naturopathy because that is really my absolute passion, and finished off my study. And now I really enjoy working in this practice, like working one-on-one with humans and getting really good results using diet, lifestyle, nutrition, and herbal medicine.
Yeah.
I find herbal medicine just so effective that I can't believe it's not the first thing that people tell us to do.
Yeah.
Like, it's really, really effective. Quite often we'll have to kind of undo years of problems, health problems, but we get there. We get there in the end.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think our bodies have an extraordinary ability to bounce back
Yeah.
when given the right holistic environment.
Absolutely. So our bodies are set up for homeostasis. So we have all these systems in our body that help us bring ourselves back into balance. So it's really just helping our bodies get back into balance.
Yeah, fantastic. So you're a naturopath, proven of many, many years of experience, which is fantastic.
Yes.
You've done some Chinese medicine in there as well? Is that correct?
So with naturopathy, it's diet and herbal medicine, nutrition. With the herbal medicine and lifestyle, with herbal medicine, we borrow from Chinese medicine, Western herbal medicine, and Ayurvedic medicine. Those are the main ones we look into. We also borrow some things from Chinese medicine as far as tongue analysis. We'll look at hands. We look at the eyes. We look at the
iridology.
hair.
I think that's called.
Iridology, iridology is more Western medicine, but I absolutely love it. It tells me so many more clues than what we kind of get within the consultation. So within a consultation, we'll kind of chat for maybe half an hour or so before I do physical examinations. And this is really me trying to find out what patterns of illness are showing up and what the root causes might be.
That's amazing.
But then once I actually look in someone's eye and examine the colourful part of the eye, so the way the fibres structure themselves and the different colours in there, it gives me some extra clues, and so I can ask people about certain things to do with their health, and it really helps me get a little bit deeper into what might be going on. So the eyes tell me how someone's kind of born, so what areas of strength they have naturally, and what areas, so we can kind of lean into those areas, and what other areas may need a little bit more nurturing.
Oh, how fantastic.
Yeah.
So it's not only just meeting the person, but talking around, I suppose, lifestyle, and then also what your body is presenting, not just what you're telling them. So I love that.
For sure. And the other thing I do is testing. So it's really great when someone can come and they've really had a full blood test done for me, and we can have a look at that. If not, I arrange that for them. So we look at blood testing. So I'll normally look at, liver health, kidney health, blood lipids, blood glucose, a full blood count, and I will quite often look at vitamin B12, D, and iron. Other ones, depending on the person's health, these can tell me a lot about someone's health. It's really, really, really helpful.
Descriptive,
really descriptive. The way a naturopath might read that test is a little bit different from other health professionals, so it gives us a lot of information. The other thing sometimes I'll lean into is some gut testing as well. So not for everybody, gut testing does cost money. So if we can do it without gut testing, we can do. But the gut testing gives me a lot of information if we can do that. So with gut testing, it can tell me how many different species of bacteria in the gut. We're looking for around 200 species of bacteria for a really healthy gut microbiome. There's actually trillions of little tiny different bacteria, but the variety of species is really important. So do we have enough variety of species to create a nice healthy gut microbiome? Is there inflammatory markers that we need to look at? Are we digesting our foods properly? Is there any oral species in there that could be affecting our gut microbiome? Is there like a picture of any kind of leaky gut, intestinal permeability? We can find out so much to do with that. And then with that information, we can think, what prebiotic fibers do we want to lean into? So when I say prebiotic fibers, I'm talking different plants have different types of fibers, and different fibers build up different bacteria groups. So which ones do we need to lean into to kind of help that particular species flourish?
I think you've made a really good point, is that we are fed a lot of information externally, but really you can nail it when you go to a naturopath, someone like yourself, a practitioner that can take you through the elements of what good health means to them, to the individual, and then also what their body reacts to. And I know that you can only benefit from something like that. So Paula, I know I've come to you and asked some questions around women's health, being middle age myself, but tell me a little bit more around women's opportunities to work with you.
Yeah, sure. I'll talk about a couple of things. So one is a webinar called Embracing the Change, Thriving Through peri and postmenopause.
Very useful.
Yeah, so we'll pop a link to that webinar in with
The
this
notes.
post. Yeah, so a really good way to start if your health is kind of going a little bit wobbly around menopause and postmenopause. Some great diet and lifestyle interventions we can make without actually, if we're not ready to kind of make that naturopathic appointment yet.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of things we can do on our own with great studies backing it up.
Well, that can only help, can't it? Because you give yourself a little bit of education.
Yes.
So you understand that it's very natural what the process that's happening in your body. And then they'd come and see you and you'd be there to support those natural processes.
Absolutely. So, yeah. And sometimes when we're in perimenopause, we can really get sidetracked on that particular journey. And it is a really important journey. And we want to make that as smooth as possible.
Yeah.
But also, postmenopause will happen, and there is a different health challenges with that group too. So setting yourself up before menopause can be quite good. You can make changes after too, but it's never too early to try and make changes for your long-term health.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
I mean, everything starts with making a decision.
Yeah.
Make a decision to educate yourself. Make a decision to come to a naturopath.
Yeah.
Have a chat with someone around your specific needs.
Yeah.
I think that's the most important thing to take away from a naturopath is they're not there to fix. They're there to help support you in what, it's not Western medicine. It's a drawdown of a lot of different techniques, which I value because I love Ayurvedic medicine, that which sits over the top. But if I was a woman, live on the peninsula, and I wanted to maybe come and see you and discuss some women's issues, what's a good couple of ways that they might be able to get in contact?
Most people see me one-on-one, which is great. It's a really deep dive into that person's health. So with that consultation, it really is educating the patient about themselves. They educate me about their health, and then I can really try and help them understand themselves a little bit better. The other thing is, if you're not quite ready for a one-on-one consultation, I can offer group consultations as well. So if someone there's a group of people, maybe 4 people who have a similar health concern, whether it's perimenopause, postmenopause, maybe it's teenagers with period problems, whatever it is, we can do like a very small consultation. It brings the price down and makes it a little bit more achievable for people, and a good way to kind of dip your toe into the naturopathic arena without making that full one-on-one consultation yet. Yes, there'll be people who definitely will benefit more from that one-on-one consultation, but for education and building a little bit of a support group, group consultation can be really good.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
So that makes healthcare more accessible.
It does. And so if people are interested in group consultations, they just need to contact me. I can keep their name on my books.
Absolutely.
And when we have enough people, then we can organise that group consultation.
And we'll also make sure that all your details are in the notes attached to the podcast so that people can reach out. Definitely, and straight to, don't have to come through Founder Stories. We're here to highlight your ability to support the community, and I certainly think that you've done that very well in Rye, if not further. So if you're watching this from Melbourne, there is also, as I said before, there's a lot of reasons people end up on the Mornington Peninsula. Wellness is one of them, and I know Paula Flynn at Rye Naturopathic Health would be happy to see you.
Yeah, actually I have telehealth too.
I know that naturopaths and wellness, I suppose there's a few barriers to entry. What would you say are your pain points in the industry of beautiful naturopathy?
Yeah, so these days, the information that is out there online and in social media can be a little bit distracting for people. And unfortunately, what we're seeing on social media can be challenging as far as there's a lot of misinformation, disinformation, and theories that have taken off that really don't have any scientific backing to them. I see a bunch of those, and look, in my field, we do continuous education. So we are normally ahead of these ideas, but sometimes a little idea will take off. So there's things like, and this will sound controversial to people who are watching this, but there's a seed oil theory that comes up over and over again. And it actually appears in my practice as well. So seed oil online, there's a big idea that it's toxic.
Yeah.
But the actual studies, recent studies, and we're looking at studies with more than 50,000 people, are showing that seed oil has more health benefits. So the populations who have high consumption of seed oils do better. And they've done comparators with placebo and comparators against butter, and seed oil actually does better than butter.
Right.
So it's a really one of the areas that I have to constantly re-educate people in.
I think it's a great point is that you don't believe everything you're told, and certainly not on social media around people that aren't necessarily educated like yourself.
Yeah.
And I think the point being is certainly pay attention, but then bring your whole self to a practitioner where you can get a lot more of that specific information. And again, it's around supporting your individual needs. That's what I think
for sure
is the most beautiful thing that you do. Is it is around that individual person, not, oh, this is a trend. Here we are with looking at seed oils, perfect example. What element or how many are you consuming? What are you doing? How do you feel every day?
Yeah, sure. Absolutely. So anecdotes and theories are one thing and they can really take off, but actual studies is what we want to go by. So there's problems with that. There's the carnivore diet that's taken off. There's people taking a lot of different nutritional supplements will only work if someone's got a deficiency. There's women who are doing a lot of fasting, which studies show isn't necessarily very good for women. I could go on and on and on about trends that have taken off that aren't that great for ladies. So, and men, but particularly in women, as we're a little bit more complicated than our male counterparts.
Yes. We also bear children, and I think that's an extraordinary thing to do. Our director is laughing at the moment behind the scenes. But we are an extraordinary species, is what, 50%. So we do need to look after ourselves differently. I will say that out loud. But you do see both men and women.
I do, I actually have quite a strong male cohort as well. I really enjoy being a generalist practitioner because I'm interested in all the areas of health. So everything fascinates me. I want to know it all.
Same. I love talking to you, but I love talking to people in general as well, because there is all those elements and those different chapters of people, and they all have equal space. But they're also an entire book, and you sort of hold the key to that book, and then you open the chapters as you accordingly need to, whether it's iridology, gut issues. And I absolutely adore and love the opportunity to bring that accessibility to healthcare in the women's wellness groups or getting in contact with you so that you can then look at how do we support you in a more accessible environment. So well done on that.
Thank you.
Thank you, Paula. Look, is there anything else that you'd like to mention around your beautiful practice there in Rye? You're quite central and you do see people from across the peninsula. So what's next?
What's next? I do see people, most of my patients are on the peninsula, although I do see people by telehealth as well. So I see people all over the place.
So Paula, just before we finish up today, one thing I suppose I certainly follow you online because I love those tips and tricks, if you call them, for supporting my health on a daily basis. But you never wanted to be an influencer as such, did you?
No, I had no interest in being online. My absolute passion is being a local naturopath, old school, just seeing people face to face. That's what I love. But so much of the information that people are getting these days is online. So I have created an online presence. So I think it's important for me to keep on imparting some information and sometimes giving people an alternative perspective. And if there is maybe a quite problematic or unhealthy health trend that's taken off, I will quite often explain what the studies show about this particular trend and give some more practical and grounded information.
Useful information based in fact, based in
study
as well, which I think is an important factor with when you see a naturopath, is that you are seeing an educated practitioner rather than drawing offline, which could not be related to you and your body type and the support of your human needs,
Absolutely.
I guess. And certainly as women.
We definitely go a lot of traditional medicine, but then these days we can bring it back to studies. So not fringe studies, but I look at robust studies. So we want to look at large cohorts with placebo and comparator groups and recent studies. So we want to have really nice, recent, robust studies.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, I'll certainly be coming to see you and continue to see you. You are amazing, Paula. But for everyone at home, this has certainly brought up probably some interesting discussion points at home, which is to follow, I suppose, a practitioner's advice rather than always believing what we see online,
Sure.
and trust your naturopath. Go see them, find out. You could do group sessions, you can do individual sessions. And Paula Flynn is at Rye Naturopathic Health in Rye. So she's in the centre, essentially the centre of the pointy end of the peninsula. So I want to say thank you very much for joining us today, Paula.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome.